Hello. Sorry I didn't see you there. No, I don't believe we've met. I'm Professor Peter Blackthorne of the University of Graz in Styria. And you are? Ah, a stowaway. I see. Well, worry not. Your secret is safe with me for as long as we are on the ship. As you can pretty clearly tell, I'm not exactly in a position of authority to either have you thrown off or turn you into the captain and his crew. They have made it quite clear that they have had rather enough of my questions and interruptions. Yes, well, you see, I'm a rather curious fellow by nature. That's why I fell into the profession of teaching, and it's what led me to Austria-Hungary in the first place. So, when exposed to such wonders as those can be seen in nautical life and all of the processes associated with such, I can tend to be a bit overbearing. And when I'm in such a state that my curiosity is so aroused, I can be, well, rather annoying at best, or completely insufferable at worst. It's rather unfortunate. Let me just set this down. And the captain and his crew, they decided that I had become rather insufferable. So they ordered me down here. Well, they ordered me back to my quarters, but I'm a rather particular fellow. I don't know if you could have noticed already, but I tend to be detail-oriented, shall we say, and the noise of the cabin was far too much for me to focus on my work. I usually need utter silence. And thus I was resigned to the cargo hold, which has not been too terribly inconvenient, I have to say. It's been quite peaceful, actually, but unfortunately the sea air has rather negatively affected the inner mechanisms of my typewriter, and thus I was reduced to pen and paper in the trusty dusty journal. Not exactly how I prefer to construct my daily reports back to the university, but alas, I'll just have to compile them once we get to New York. You do know that we're headed to New York, correctly? You didn't just hop on any old random boat. Good. Yes. So that must be a very exciting life that you lead, yes? Well, perhaps exciting is a bit strong of a word, I agree. Perhaps a rather invigorating, yes, life would be more appropriate to say. Never staying in one spot for too long. What do you hope to find in America, if you don't mind my asking? I see. A few family members in New York, upstate New York. Very nice. Okay. Yes, no, well, I should hope that I wouldn't show an accent. I didn't grow up in Austria-Hungary, after all. No, I grew up in Maine, actually. Maine being a part of the United States, one of the states, and just a little bit north of New York. So, no, I'm not visiting any family. No, I've embarked on a rather exciting scientific venture. I'm an archaeologist by trade, you must understand. And though I deal primarily with ancient civilizations and such, in Utah, they've uncovered what they believe to be are the remains of several new species of dinosaur. Pardon me. That's rather common knowledge from where I'm from, but I can understand how it might not have made its way all the way to the streets of Styria yet. No, dinosaurs are great prehistoric lizards, and they lived millions and millions of years ago, until one day they suddenly didn't. And it's one of the largest mysteries how they all died out all at once, that the scientific community is currently undertaking. My personal favorite theory, and one which I helped to create is the one which sees a large meteor, which is a rock from space, hurtle to the Earth's surface and create a massive crater that blew up so much dust that it blotted out the sun. And we believe that this dust storm that would have been created would have been enough to cause all the plants to die. And when the plants died, the dinosaurs would have died. And you must understand, these are enormous creatures, tens of meters long. So they relied heavily on, they had to eat continuously in order to fuel their bodies. So when all the plants were gone, all the dinosaurs naturally died. And there were all sorts, there were hundreds of species of dinosaur. But yes, in Utah, they believe they've discovered a couple more. Oh, well, not living. No, they've discovered fossils. Fossils occur when the bones and remains of an animal are compressed under layers and layers of soil and gradually calcified until they turn basically to stone. So all of the bone is replaced with stone. And we're able to unearth them, and we determine how old they are based on the fossil record, we call it, which is essentially using a rather laborious process of analyzing the layers of soil that are on the Earth's surface, the layer of soil and rock. We can determine the relative age, not quite the exact age, but the relative age of given fossils. It's a very exciting process. But I'm boring you, I imagine, rambling on and on as I have been. And I haven't even had the manners to offer you a cup of tea. Unfortunately, this is my only teacup. However, I believe that I can offer you, I think there might be another glass. Here we are. Well, it's a little bit early in the day for bourbon and snifters, but we'll have to make do, I'm afraid. Let me grab. Here we are. And I believe I have just enough left. Yes, just water, I'm afraid. We ran out of tea a couple of days ago. I hadn't adequately packed enough, and but the crew have been very kind and they've boiled water for us, so this is perfectly safe. No worries. Here you are. Perfect. I imagine it's been a little while since you've had anything proper to eat or drink. You know what? I was just in the middle of eating a sandwich, but I still have half left. Would you like some? Oh, no, not at all. It's not a bother at all. I had a large breakfast. The crew has been very, very generous with their portions. So this I just made myself a little while ago, and just for a little snack. So, no, it's not a problem at all. Please, here, me. Here we are. This is a turkey sandwich, American style. So, a little bit of a welcome to the States even before we get there. We're still a couple days away, but I think it's appropriate. Something you'll have to get used to eating, certainly once you're in the States. Here you go. All right, now that we've got you fed and we've got water in you, I'm encouraged by the change in your color. I was a little bit worried initially when I first saw you that you might be deathly ill, but I see now that you were just very thirsty. Yes. Well, I'm a doctor of the sciences, not the medical sciences, so I'm not as precise when it comes to my medical knowledge as it is when it comes to knowledge of, we'll say, the Mesopotamians, for instance. You know what? Do you happen to know where exactly we're actually going? Because I just noticed that we have this globe. Have you ever been to America before? No. Well, I didn't think so. Here, I'll show you where we are. And then, let's see. it's a little too far. Here we go. So we started off right about here. Right about here or so. And we're going to travel all the way through the Mediterranean. We made it past the Mediterranean quite a while ago. We're now in the Atlantic Ocean, which is one of the largest bodies of water in the world, second only to the Pacific Ocean, of course. And we're going to travel all the way over to New York and the United States, which is, as a whole, the third largest landmass in the world. So a rather impressive country, if I do say so myself, and growing larger by the day. I believe there was at least, and then there was at least a bill, pardon me. I'm rather scatterbrained if you couldn't tell. There was at least a bill to expand, add another state. I'm not certain if it passed, but it should have. I'll check the newspaper later. And anyway, all the way over to Utah. That's where I'll be heading. So I'll be taking a locomotive from New York all the way over to Utah. Quite a journey. It's 2 or 3 days if I recall correctly. But the steam locomotives the steam locomotives are getting faster and faster every year, so I imagine that we may reach speeds of 40, 45, maybe perhaps even 50 miles per hour. So it should be very exciting, which I believe is somewhere in the 60 to 70 kilometer per hour range. Yes. Yes. Replacing the hat. Goodness me, the luggage has a mind of its own. Yes, well, I'd hate to disturb all the luggage you see around us, especially since, well, technically speaking, I shouldn't be down here, so best to leave it as I found it, eh? Which does remind me, I do have a newspaper if you'd like to hear some of the goings-on of America. I have them imported to my office back in Styria, so I took along a couple so that I could catch up on the news before I landed back in the motherland, as it were. But oh my, some very exciting news. Okay, let's see. A new state, Idaho, has been added. That was the bill that I was telling you about. So we're one more in number than we were before. So you're already visiting quite a large country, and it's become even larger. Let's see. The bike boom seems to be coming to a close, if I'm reading this correct. Oh wait, no. Pardon me, it's an editorial. I was going to say, that does seem rather abrupt. No, they're theorizing that the bike boom is going to come to a close. But personally, I find them rather delightful. I can't imagine that bicycles are going out of style anytime soon. The Sherman Antitrust Act was passed. That's an economic act. Nothing terribly important for you to know, but it perhaps will help to regulate some of the robber barons and prevent them from taking up quite as many companies into their fold as before. Oh, how lovely. Buffalo Bill's Wild West Circus and Annie Oakley are going to be visiting Vermont. That isn't too far away from New York. You might be able to travel and see it. Yes. Oh, it's a delightfully good time, yeah. Let's see. Sports. Nothing else too much of interest. I met Annie Oakley once, you know. Yes, from afar. I didn't see her, didn't speak to her in person, but I attended the circus. Let's see. I think they were in Ohio at the time. Yes, that sounds right. Yes, in Ohio. And she was fantastic. She can't be more than 20 years old, but she's the best sharpshooter in America. She was hitting clay pigeons that they were throwing out, sometimes from 100 yards away. It was fantastic. And the speed, her speed is incredible. She'll have 3 rifles lined up, and she'll go through 7 rounds on each one, hitting every single target. Doesn't even take the time to reload. She just switches to another rifle. She's fantastic. Yes, I'm a great admirer of hers, if you couldn't tell. Buffalo Bill as well puts on a tremendous show. America is truly the land of entertainment. There's excitement around every street corner, so I envy you the chance to see it for the first time and to not be relegated out to the Wild West where there's really nothing of importance right now aside from, hopefully, some very interesting dinosaur bones. Yes. Oh well. I do love my job, I really do. It's absolutely fascinating. Some of the other professors and archaeologists, however, can be a bit stuffy. So it's been actually quite delightful talking to you, you being so interested in everything. I have to say, a lot of my colleagues tend to brush me off as being a bit too excitable. So it's been rather nice talking to you. Unfortunately, however, I will have to take my leave. I have to finish my report and go upstairs and see to dinner, which I believe is corned beef and hash tonight. But don't worry, I will not abandon you. In fact, I'll be down here in an hour or two with the leftovers that I'm able to acquire from the kitchen and perhaps even a few desserts that you and I can share. How's that sound? Wonderful. Yes, of course. It's no trouble at all, really. No, other than, my work and studying up on Utah. Now that the crew has decided that I'm not too pleasurable to converse with, it's rather boring. So, your presence has been a very welcome injection of excitement. Yes. Wonderful. Excellent. Well, then I will see you very soon. Please enjoy the sandwich, and the teapot is around here somewhere if you happen to need any more water, okay? Wonderful. I'll be back down very soon, okay? All right. Goodbye. I'll see you soon.